It's Taste on Lit Live, the Revue of Reggie Hawkins. And here's the thing, right? I love folks that take me on a journey through my old toxic self.
Right.
And bring out emotions in me that I thought I've gotten over. And when I heard from my next guest, it was just a journey in it felt like a therapy session. Mm-hmm. And I'm just happy to have Elaine here. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm amazing.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
You know, I wrote down something to talk about the experience that I had listening to your music, and I described Stone Cold Heart as a beautiful sonic journey in poor decisions.
You ate that.
Am I wrong?
Definitely not.
How would you describe this current project?
I'm constantly trying to figure out a description for it. It's constantly evolving as I listen, as I go through it, as I experience the music in real time, and as I compare it from who I was when I was making the music and who I am now receiving the music now. But I think I describe it as a reintroduction of who I am for those that don't know me. But at most, it's also a confession. It's my real life experiences, real relationships that I was a part of, real things that took place. Yeah, so it's just confessions. It's like an open diary session.
I look at folks like you as just so courageous. What gave you the courage to put all that stuff in the music?
I think for me personally, my music is the only platform that I have to be free. If I'm being real. That's the only place in my life where I feel like I can be crashing out and it's appropriate, or I can be, telling my secrets and it doesn't feel like I'm oversharing. Although now that the project is out, I do feel like I was oversharing. I was definitely oversharing, but it's the one place where I feel like it's acceptable. There's no other place in the world or in my life where I feel as comfortable, as free, and as open than when I'm making music.
But music loves its oversharers.
That's why it chose me.
And honestly speaking, it was a journey in freedom.
It was.
For me, as a listener.
Okay.
Because it brought me back to Mary J. Blige.
Wow.
The first two. Think about Mary's first two albums. Think about the What's the 411 album and some of the songs on that, and then think about her magnum opus, which was My Life. Mm-hmm. My Life took you on a journey of someone who was stone cold heartbroken.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love Mary J. Blige. She's one of the voices that have been really, really instrumental in me building my R&B sound. I think when I'm thinking about Mary J. Blige, the one album that I know back to front, top to bottom is the one that has 25/8. Cause I got days and days of love for you, boy. But those melodies, just everything about that. Just when I thought I couldn't get enough of Mary J. Blige, she came and she, delivered top to bottom. Top to bottom. Yeah. And she was oversharing. She was pouring her heart out. Top to bottom. Wow. And that wasn't her first album. It wasn't her second album. It wasn't even her third album. And that was just okay, if, this is how we're doing it.
They call it R&B, but half of her discography feels like the blues.
100%. 9 times out of 10.
And relatability, there was a word that described, that your folks described you in your bio. It was, and I had to go look up the word. Mm-hmm. And it was ethereal. And I looked at it and said, that's a word. I need to expand my vocabulary. It says relating to regions beyond the earth.
Wow.
And how about that? How about someone from South Africa is affecting all of us, around the world. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it is heartbreak, love, joy, and those other emotions are universal.
Yeah.
Do you get that type of reaction now that you put out this project? Like this from Elements to this particular project, all your music, do you get this type of reaction that people say, I relate to you?
That is the number one reaction. And it's also the reaction that motivates me to keep making music. Relatability. If my fan base is not relating to me, if the people that I'm singing and writing for are not relating to me, there's a disconnect. And I'm blessed to have never felt that disconnect. In actual fact, the more I put out, the more connection there is, because, with every project, with every song, with every rollout, I'm learning what it means to truly, truly, truly bare my soul and heart on a record. And with Stone Cold Heart, I was very intentional with doing that.
How's your like, I have an inner circle that's kind of protective of me. And they're like, hey, it's too far.
Don't do that. Yeah.
Too far.
Yeah.
Back up. How's your inner circle, when they see you just...
I have such a small circle.
Me too.
Yeah.
Like a Cheerio, my circle's so small.
Too small. I almost cut myself off every other day. That's how small it is. But it's mostly my family and my team that I'm very close to. And I'm a very closed off person in general. Okay. This is outside of the studio. So when I'm making music, that's when they actually get to really hear where I'm at and how I'm feeling and what I'm going through. So they're always just like, damn, girl, keep going. We don't know how long we have you for, because I'm a very closed off person. I don't say much. I don't talk about my feelings.
It's like the turtle coming out of the shell. Everybody wants to see it, and it's
exactly.
Like going back in.
It's like who I am on my songs is like an alter ego. It's not who I am in person. Like, I'm the person that's just like, I'm fine, I'm cool, I'm good.
So tell me about Elaine growing up in South Africa and how it, it's funny, before the interview you mentioned Wakanda being a mythical place. But that mythical place has kind of brought our worlds
together. True.
So how is it living in South Africa and growing up in South Africa?
I know, and I guess that's the beauty of music, because the more I travel and the more I'm exposed to different cultures, different people, the beauty of art, the more I realize that where I'm from is possibly a mythical place to a lot of other people who haven't been there either, And growing up in South Africa was absolutely magical. I have an amazing family. I'm the oldest. Sister. I have 2 younger brothers, very supportive parents. My dad is a businessman. My mom is a retired nurse, and she just got her honors degree. I'm so proud of her.
Look at that.
She's now an environmentalist. So I come from a background where education is, the priority. I'm a law graduate myself. I went to university.
What did you study?
I studied law.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I studied law. Yeah, come on, don't play with me. Don't play. But yeah, that was my background. A lot of culture, a lot of music, a lot of studying, a lot of research. That's the type of family I come from. Very small family, but very interactive. We love just always pushing the boundaries. My dad always pushes us to be the best that we can be. My dad pushes us to want to travel, see the world. And I'm, the first person from my family to really see the world at this...
on this level.
On this level, yeah. So I'm also like a lens for my family back home, showing them what I'm doing, what I'm seeing, and where my art is getting me. And that's always just been how I've grown up. I've grown up on love, I grew up in the church as well. Okay. So... yeah, that's a huge part of my life as well.
How's the church with the backing of the music? They're supportive?
They're supportive. They don't judge me at all. Yeah, I'm grateful to have never felt any type of judgment from anyone that I care about. Anyone that is judging, I don't really care for.
The reason why it fascinates me, because I grew up in the South. Well, you don't know now. You know.
I know.
I grew up in the South.
Yeah.
And all of the leadership were white.
Yeah.
Everything. Up until a certain point. Even the president was just white. So it's like, now it's like, like experiencing different cultures and stuff like that. Like even some of my friends here that grew up in the Caribbean, they had all black governments and they know black lawyers and black nurses and that type of thing. So it always fascinates me, the mind and the confidence that's instilled when you know that you come from a certain thing, as opposed to us who are discovering that we come from that. Do you agree?
I agree. I think there definitely is a difference in just one's approach to life when they know, as opposed to when they have to figure it out. And I feel like I've experienced that a lot of times in the music industry as well, because I feel like being a South African artist who does traditional R&B, it's not necessarily the most popular genre in South Africa, but I've had a lot of discovering that I had to do. But at the same time, I feel like I didn't know that South Africa loved R&B so much to a point where they could push me outside of South Africa itself and beyond the continent. So I'm constantly stuck between knowing and having the confidence of going for my dreams and, you know, totally putting my entire heart into it, versus giving myself the grace of discovering the truth behind what I'm really a part of.
I like your courage for not being a wave rider.
Right.
Because you could have just went down the whole Afro-beat, Afro this, Afro that way.
I get that.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could have, and there's elements, some elements of that in your music.
There is, especially in Stone Cold Heart.
Yeah.
But I was intentional about that as well.
But truthfully speaking, you know, especially in the inception of the project, feels like R&B.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of moves in. You know, if you listen to the record in sequence, it kind of moves into certain things. But
it does.
But the first part of it,
it's definitely, side A, there's a side A and side B. That's how I decided to sort of like break it down to my fan base, because I knew they'd have a hard time, or it was just like maybe a shock to the system for them, for me to introduce them to new genres. Some of them do get upset. You know, sometimes I see the comments, oh, why are you doing Afro-Beats? Why are you doing my piano? Just do R&B. But it's not about that. It's about me not wanting to be boxed in, period. You know, if I want to do pop tomorrow, give me the grace to do pop. You know, if I want to, you know, do amapiano, give me the grace. But the core remains R&B. So hopefully, you know, they get that.
So before I get into the project, broken-hearted ass bitch. I can use the language, right?
It's everywhere. That's the
I'm playing.
title.
I was gonna say it anyway. It just felt good. It makes my teeth white. Broken-hearted ass bitch.
Oh, I've never said it like that. I don't even think I've said the whole title out loud.
You should try it like that sometime. But how have you grown between elements in this project?
Immensely. Uncomfortably.
Explain that. Uncomfortably.
I didn't choose to grow up. It literally was like, are you going to do it or not? And if you don't, you know, these are the consequences, you know, and it felt like I was just forced. I had no choice. When I released Elements, I was a full-time law student. I had about 700 followers on Instagram, maybe 400 on Twitter, give or take. Didn't think much about it. Dropped this link from a project that I had uploaded independently on an independent distribution site myself in between my classes. And it blew up. And I found myself, you know, with like terrible imposter syndrome. You know, because I felt like, what do you mean? You know, I'm just a student. I'm a law student. I know nothing about this, you know. It's not the right time. And then we went into the pandemic shortly after, which even heightened, you know, my depression, my anxiety, my confusion. Wow. So I feel like I went through a lot of having to convince myself that this is for me, you know, and that took a lot of growth, because understanding that this is for me and believing that this is for me, truly believing that this is for me, was something that I had to do for myself. You know, there was no amount of, Elaine, you're so good. Elaine, you're going to make it. Elaine, you're too good. That was going to convince me. You know, it took a lot of self-introspection, you know, a lot of talking to God, praying fiercely, fearlessly, and being placed in positions where I had to be by myself. I moved to America by myself. I think I was 21 during the pandemic. I didn't know anyone here. Wow. My family. Yeah, just a girl from South Africa. Moved to America by myself during the pandemic. My family couldn't visit me for about a year, so I was stuck here for a year trying to figure it out. And I found my feet. I had no choice. It was sort of like swim or sink. And that's what was uncomfortable about it, because there was no option to sit it out.
There's no safety net.
Yeah, like, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit this one out. It was like, well, if you don't swim, you're definitely going to sink. Mm-hmm. So it was uncomfortable. It was scary and it was lonely, but I had to go through it, and
got some callus on your hands.
Too much. But it was worth it. And I appreciate the journey. Yeah.
So let's get into this project. Some of my favorites. Relapsing. Here we go again, making all the same mistakes again.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Relapsing is a song that I wrote about a on and off relationship that I was in for quite some time.
Couldn't shake it?
I don't think it was the couldn't shake it part of it. I think it was the manipulative aspect of it. Having someone that you deeply care about and love about use their weakness as an advantage or as an excuse for their behavior and their shortfalls, and you sort of keep falling for it. Like, oh, I'm sorry I let you down. I'm depressed. I'm sorry I let you down. I'm struggling with that thing from 10 years ago that I don't tell anyone about, but I'm working on it. And it sort of just keeps roping you in and in and in on this toxic cycle, and you end up losing yourself and just going through a dark hole, until I completely had to cut the person off and cut it off and just ghost and pretend and back to strangers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I was relapsing for a while. We were at it for a while.
Yeah.
But I was sick and tired.
You see, I was the guy on the other side of the song.
Really?
And you, I was that.
You were the toxic guy?
I was that. Let me tell you something. Because you have to, listen, no, seriously. Listen, you have to understand this.
I'm trying.
And this is what your project made me fully understand.
Okay.
That maturity is accepting responsibility.
Okay.
And a lot of times, the reason why people keep up certain behaviors is because they haven't matured.
True.
And in your project, I saw the immature side of me, which I didn't want to see. Thought that person.
No one does.
It's like Halloween. Goddamn, you go back to. Just like broken-hearted ass bitch.
Broken-hearted ass bitch.
None of these niggas mean shit. That's a rough line. That's a real rough line. None of these niggas mean shit. Break that. None of these niggas mean shit. Not one. None of these niggas.
Not one.
But come on, give me the motivation behind that song.
So the motivation behind the song, actually, if I'm being quite honest, I had just gotten out of the relapsing stage.
Okay.
Of my life. So the sequencing might be a bit off, but it sounds amazing. But but Broken-Hearted as Bitch I wrote that song after I came from the relapsing stage. And I took some time to myself, totally. That's when I moved to America. And right before I moved, there was someone who I was talking to, right? But this was months after the relapsing. It all happened in stages. But remember, from Elements to Stone Cold Heart was 5 years. Yeah. So these are things that happen within 5 years. It's a long time. So
were you searching for love in all the wrong places?
I'm never searching. I'm always yearning. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I'm always...
Could the word be longing for love?
Longing. I'm always longing for it. I'm not like, ooh, but I'm always like, when it finds me though, I can't wait till it finds me. But I'm never like actively like, I'm going to go out tonight and find love, or today. No. So Broken-Hearted as Bitch, just came from the relapsing stage, and there was this person that I was talking to who was really cool, by the way. We spent some time together. We spoke about some things.
He's really cool, but none of these niggas ain't shit.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Right? But listen, this is how we get there.
Trigger.
And so, extremely. And so we were sharing a lot of vulnerable information at the time, And then just before I moved to LA, I was like, yo, I'm going to move to LA, just so you know. I'm going to be out soon. This is what I'm doing. And then the day of my flight, he like ghosted me.
Yeah.
Right? Texted, hey, I'm about to take off. Are you coming? He was supposed to come to the airport and everything. You know, he didn't come. He didn't pitch. I land in LA and I never heard from him till this day. That was like 4 years ago, you know? And at that time, I was just so frustrated because it was the overall just...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get it.
I'm moving countries, like safe flights.
Yeah.
Keep well.
So then you just
I was fed up. I was just like, you know what? I've been through this one too many times. The lack of consideration is actually highly annoying. And I'm done making excuses for, like, it was just indecent. It wasn't even about my emotions or about us having anything. It was just about, yo, like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You ain't shit, for real.
You just went straight to the pad after that.
I was crashing out from there on.
Yeah.
Crashing completely out.
Yeah.
And then it goes on for a couple of more songs.
Yeah. It's the best part of the album for me. You know, and then I felt sorry for you on Lonely Hearts.
Yeah, because it started to get... Where do they go, though? To very toxic places. Lonely Hearts end up in very unsafe... For girls like me, lover girls, sensitive, vulnerable, can't do casual anything, intentional. Lonely Hearts, not good for a lover girl.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Here's the one that really triggered me. Now, I hope I'm saying the name right. Las Palmas Avenue?
Las Palmas
Avenue?
Las Palmas Avenue.
Okay, let me just tell you what I wrote down.
Yeah.
This is what I said about myself.
Okay.
Was triggering as a former liar to women. This was triggering.
I triggered a former liar to women.
And the key word in this whole thing
is former.
So don't give me those eyes.
I figured you were going to say former.
So I wrote down was triggering as a former liar to women. Here's what you say. He loves you. He loves me too. And I put down, this is the ultimate side chick anthem. And you go first. You go first.
That was raw, first of all, but I think...
Were you the side chick?
I wasn't, obviously. Well, if you look at it, if there's a single man in the equation and he is being unfaithful to both of us, who is the side chick?
The one that he doesn't stay with.
The one that he doesn't stay with, but I left him because I found out about the other woman. So I left him. I was like, well, if he's mine, he's yours too. If he's yours, he's mine too. I don't want to share, so I'll leave him.
Where was his residence? And who was at the residence? So the other person's a side chick. Now, let me tell you something.
This is so technical, and I hate that it's so technical.
This song gave the side chick
Where was
grace.
his residence?
Because you got to go home.
But we can live in different places. We don't have to share a residence for us to be loyal. What's happening?
That's why I got to go to South Africa.
What's happening?
You have different residents over there, I guess.
Surely, do we have to be living together for it to be a real thing?
Yeah.
We weren't staying together.
Okay.
Unless we're married, we weren't staying together. So maybe that was a disconnect.
But anyway, a beautiful, triggering,
I'm
toxic,
triggered now.
a beautiful, triggering, toxic song. Because let me tell you what I found out. And you can put this on the next album.
Okay.
What I found out is that lying is selfishness. Lying is rooted in selfishness.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? Let me have my cathartic moment with you because all this stuff was brought out by this amazing project.
Thank you.
Lying is selfish because he loves, I love that. Let me tell you, I have feelings for everybody.
Really? So he did love both of us.
Tell you something. I had to start in 5. That's not a badge of honor because it's lonely. It's lonely.
This is not okay.
It's lonely. No, it wasn't okay because I'm better now. stronger, and wiser.
But at what cost? At what cost?
Don't get me wrong. To everybody I loved before, please forgive me. I was immature, but now I'm mature. I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. And I thank your music for conjuring up these toxic ass feelings inside of me. Yeah, I put down For Waiting on You is just a simply beautiful song. Simply beautiful song.
Thank you. No bars, no beef, good vibes.
Good vibes. And My Lover.
My lover.
You left a void when you pushed me away. Talk to me about that. At heartbreak.
Unrequited love. It sucks loving someone that will never love you back.
Damn.
The way that you love them.
Your music just makes people want to just hug you. It's gonna be okay, baby.
Please hug me.
You know?
Yeah,
but I'm saying
people see me.
This is the emotion.
Yeah, it's it's things that I've been through. It's real.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just are the person that loves the other person more.
Yeah.
Or at all.
Yeah, and that's why I say, your project it took so much courage.
It did.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't care what anybody says or whatever criticisms. It takes courage to put your art on, to record your true emotions and your true feelings. Mm-hmm. What do you want out of this whole thing? Do you want statues and trinkets and, what do you want?
For sure. I definitely want to take a Grammy home to my parents and say, hold a little something, from your girl. Hold a few Grammys, hold a few, trophies. But at the end of the day, I think it's legacy, community, support, and real love that carries you through, that has been carrying me through. And I think I experienced that in the period of 5 years where I didn't release a full body of work, but there was still love, legacy, respect, opportunities that kept flowing in because of the community that I had. And, I just want to be the face of, R&B from a place where R&B is not necessarily celebrated or put on blast, which is South Africa. South African R&B is alive. It's very much, influential. We do have a place in our community, and I want it to be known on a worldwide platform, on a worldwide stage. So you can call me the poster girl if you'd like. You can call me the face of South African R&B, but I'm trying to push it to the world.
I'm gonna wrap it up, but what I wanted to ask you is, like, we've been waiting for this moment as quote unquote African Americans. We've been waiting for this moment to make a connection and to be embraced by Africa. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how it is vice versa. So through the movie, through the Black Panther movie, the movies, and the music, because the music is pervasive now. How do you feel about this connection that's being made cross seas between? I don't know how do we identify? Are we Black? Are we American? What are we? Because I know it's like a confusion thing now with certain statements that have been made recently.
I think, first of all, the connection crossover is long overdue. I think we've had icons in the music industry, in the African landscape. When I think of Miriam Makeba, when I think of just so many amazing African artists who made a mark during the apartheid era, during all those eras that were so fundamental in our growth. And I think
because hip hop played a part in the whole freeing of Sun City.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've been connected, and we are connected, and I think we are all family at the end of the day. And I think because of the different places that we're from, our history, and just because of the lack of knowledge, I also think between the States particularly and South Africa, I can only speak for South Africa. I'm a South African babe. There's a huge difference in our language, what certain terms mean, and our history. But at the same time, we're all very connected and interlinked because it's the same thing. Slavery, apartheid, we've been through the same emotions. We've been through the same level of pain. And I don't think we should measure who went through the most or who has it worse. But I think, to answer your question, I think we're one. And I think we're only now just discovering our rhythm and our flow. And
so you don't feel as though we need to be defined by a term like black or colored or whatever it is? You don't feel like we just are one?
I think, to be quite honest, those terms, African American. Let me ask you this: do African American people consider themselves just African, or is there always the American attached to it? There's always the American attached to it, right? Because of the history.
No, because it's been a confusion, because we've been trying to figure out
what we are.
What were we, what we are, and what are we now?
100%.
You know, think about all the names. We're going from black, from nigger to black to colored, and all these different things, and now we're African American. You know what I'm saying? So
definitely. So I think at the same time, as much as the African American community is figuring themselves out and evolving and finding their identity and being more comfortable and okay with that identity, I think South Africa is also in a place where they've accepted their identity and are learning to live with it. But at the same time, I think we're also trying to evolve and change a lot of things about our identity and accommodate a lot more of our African community. You know, there's so many more people in South Africa that are not necessarily South African that stay there, Nigerians, Zimbabweans.
Because I got the swab. Elaine,
you did? Swab. You did the ancestry? Yeah. What did they say?
What you call it? It starts with a C.
C?
Come on, Reginald.
Cameroon. Really? Yeah. Congo?
No,
Cameroon. What's the percentage?
And it makes sense because Cameroon is a French. They speak French in Cameroon.
Okay.
And I'm originally from Louisiana, so you can kind of see the lineage.
Do you see what I mean? So I think, just to speak on that note,
Haitians are Cameroonians too.
Yeah, I think a lot of African Americans are still finding themselves. Yeah, and that's okay. But I think South Africans are comfortable with who they are.
Exactly.
And there's just coming to understand that from both sides. You guys are finding out yourselves.
So
we know who we are.
We need that hug.
I understand.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you understand why we needed that, the movie, the music, the connection.
I understand. So you guys can sort of find your way into who you really are. Exactly. And that's fine. I think African people, we are African people. There's this concept of Ubuntu that I'd like to teach you. It's called Ubuntu.
Okay.
Can you say it?
Ubuntu.
Yeah.
Ubuntu?
Yeah. Okay. So Ubuntu means just having a good spirit, a human spirit, a welcoming spirit, you know, a clean conscience. And it's just an act of good humanity. And African people are people who have Ubuntu. So as you guys are finding yourself navigating your way and expressing yourselves, you know, just have Ubuntu with the African people as well as they express themselves with their traditions, their culture. And what we've learned, you know, at the end of the day, it's all low-key systematic, but we're finding our way just as much as you guys are.
Bet.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
So listen, next time you come to New York, I want us to go have a meal.
Yes.
And you teach me.
Yes, I will teach you
certain things.
Yeah. You know about our culture.
Yeah.
You know, our history.
You know.
Where we're coming from.
And by God's grace, you know what? This is my last question. Will we like Happy Elaine? Because we got Toxic Elaine.
And they love Toxic Elaine. They love Sad
Elaine. You say how they box Mary J. Blige? Like, people don't like Happy Mary. People don't like Mary in love.
Yeah.
And in a great relationship.
Yeah.
Will we like Happy Elaine?
The thing with me is I don't give people the option.
Damn. Because like Mary kind of went back.
She was like, okay. I'm not coming with that energy.
But you just gonna flow with it.
You need to flow with it. Flow with me. You know, vibe with me. Fit in or.
Bet. I like.
Beat it.
So tell everybody all your social media and all that good stuff.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Elaine from South Africa. My social media is @ElaineOfficial on all platforms. Search me, I'm there. I just dropped my debut album, Stone Cold Heart. It's a visual album. I got 14 visualizers. I didn't even get into that. Yeah, I did my little thing. I did my little creative direction thing. Proudly South African, beautiful music, story of my life. And I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Taste was amazing. I love this chop.
Did she mention she's from South Africa?
Did I mention I'm from South Africa?
I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Elaine.
It was amazing.
It's Taste on Lit Live.